Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today's review is all about why is your grinder so loud? You first buy the grinder and in a short period of time it sounds like there's a bunch of loose parts in here or ball bearings rattling around or something. And we're going to take a look. It's a very easy fix and it's very hard on YouTube to have a noise translate, between here and the microphone so you could tell a difference. But for everybody who owns one of these grinders, I'll show you the other grinders I have. Well, yeah, you know what the noise is. And we're going to fix this very quickly. And every one of my grinders that I've ever bought in my life over all these years have exhibited the same thing. We're going to take the cover off of this. I'm going to show you what's wrong. And we're going to fix it. Okay, so these are my go-to grinders here. They've been well used, and every one of them I had to take apart within the first 4 or 5 hours of using them because, well, there's obviously a problem. So I'm going to fix this one, and I'll show you. It's the exact same thing I did to all these three too, and it's a huge difference in performance, and you no longer hear that rattling sound like the thing's ready to self-destruct. So let's get to that right now. Okay, so let's just take the top off. I've taken the screws out, and I'll tell you something. This is what I find with every one of these angle grinders. Now take a good look at that. I mean, there's absolutely no grease around the outside. It's all jammed up here, and that's the reason why these grinders sound so loud. There's absolutely no lubrication at all. So what am I going to use? Well, low temperature grease. I bought a tub of this years ago. This is what it looks like, and I'm going to spread that on there. And you're going to see the difference between before and after. I'm going to clean this all up. So I'll bring you back and I'm going to put all this proper grease on here. Okay, for those of you that are thinking about using high temperature grease, sure, you can use high temperature grease if you want. But I tell you something, depending on where you are in the world, I really don't have much use for the high temperature grease. Because where I'm living, well, it's low temperature, right? So, yeah, I don't fool around when it comes to putting grease on. And that is just about the only way, like buttering it up real good here. And all the other ones that I've done already, well, I got the same good results by using the low temperature grease. And I find that the high temperature grease, it just sits there. It doesn't move around very much. And this here, well, this I think is the resolve for me. It has been. Maybe in your country, if it's like really smoking hot all the time, you got to go with the high. But I find the low temperature grease flows a lot better. And of course, sounds a lot better. So I'll put the cap on here. And I'll let you listen to the difference. Okay, so I got you about 4 feet away, zoomed in there, so you could just hear this. Now, for all of you that are wondering, okay, so you never heard the before part. Well, only people that have actual grinders would know what to listen for. And you're not hearing the rasping at the end of when this is going around and the gears are all dry. You'll hear this dry rasping going all the way around. We'll do it again. I mean, that is just so smooth than before. And every grinder I've ever owned has the same problem. Okay, so there's the resolve. And I'll tell you something. I believe my own opinion is that they've been using high temperature grease that just sits there. It goes down the assembly line. They put a little blob in there with a robotic arm and it never moves. I mean, that was the first time in 5 hours, around 5 hours, I've taken that off and I knew right off the hop, there's no grease in there. It's not moving around. And that's exactly the same with every other one that I've owned. And it's a shame that they don't figure this out, because you could see how dry it is going around all them teeth. Now it's a huge difference. I realize it's hard to tell the difference. Unless you own one of these grinders or any grinder, well, you'd know very fast when you first start it up or when you shut it off. It sounds like there's a bunch of stuff rattling around inside. And you know what? You want to get some years out of your grinder? Try this. Thanks for joining me here today. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe and see some interesting things you just might not see somewhere else. Cheers.